Hey, this is Sarah Zero from Wellstruck coming at you with a tutorial on how to create a links page on your Squarespace website. And the very first question you might have is, why do I need a links page on my Squarespace website? Well, a lot of businesses use Instagram as a great tool for building their audience and as a first place to make a connection with potential clients or potential buyers. But the problem with Instagram is that Instagram only allows you to put one link in your bio, right here. And if you put your website homepage on there, it might not direct people to the specific content that you sometimes want to call their attention to, like a blog post or a special event or even a product page. So a lot of people lately, I've noticed, are turning to a third-party app such as Linktree, where you will create a Linktree account, insert the links that you want to include on your Linktree page, and then you put the Linktree link right here. Well, the problem with that is you've worked really hard to find these followers and have them fall in love with your content. And while Linktree does allow you to provide links that link to your page, why would you send those people to a third-party app when you can send them to your own website? One of the beauties of sending people to your website is that you're building credibility with your website. The more visitors that go straight to your website, the better your site is ranked by search engines like Google. So it really is best for your search engine optimization to direct people right to your site whenever you possibly can. In addition to that, your website's already branded. You don't have to pay a third-party app to brand your account with them. So it's easy enough to go ahead and create a page on your own website. So the very first thing you might want to think about before even starting your page, and this will apply to everybody, even non-Squarespace users, is to think about which pages you want to link to. So you're always going to want to link to a few standards, and I would recommend that you always have a link to your services or your shop or your product page. I recommend you always direct people to your subscribe page, because that's how you start to keep track of who's following you, and that's the best way that you can make direct contact with them, as I'm sure you've heard before. The other place you might want to direct them is if you host events like I do. I'm going to open this up in a new tab, my Lady Boss events, and then you might want to direct them to a blog post. Directing people to a specific blog post is great because it can catch their attention and they can fall down the rabbit hole then of other blog posts and possibly products or services. So that's great to have them clicking around on your website. I'm going to, pick a specific blog post like this one. And of course, the beauty of this is it will be really easy to change up your links later. So while I always want to direct people to my services page and my subscribe page and my events page, I might occasionally mix up which blog posts I want them to be directed to. And that's fine. That's the purpose of creating this page. It'll be really easy to update that. So the very next step is to log in. So a little login trick, if you're not familiar with it already, is you navigate to your site, and on Squarespace, if you just hit the escape key, sometimes I have to hit it twice, it will prompt login, or if you're already logged in, it'll take you into this back-end view. So I'm going to go right to Pages, and I'm going to create a new page that's not linked, and I want it to not be linked because I don't want it to appear in my main navigation, and on my site I personally don't use a secondary navigation, and there's really no reason that this Instagram page should be on your secondary navigation. So we're going to create a new page. I'm going to leave it as a blank layout, and I'm going to call it Instagram. Now you could call it social, you could call it links, you could call it Insta. I'm calling mine Instagram because that's where this is going to live. If you're going to use it as your bio link for other social platforms, you might want to put social here. And choose a blank canvas and start editing. Now, the beauty of having it on my own site is it's already branded. I don't have to add a logo. Now with that in mind, if your logo on your website happens to be different than the profile picture on your Instagram, for example, if you have logo on your website but a picture of you for your Instagram profile, it would be a good idea to actually do a screenshot of this and then add an image right here at the top. And that's just a little visual indicator to remind people that this is the same as the Instagram account they just came from. So this would obviously be really huge. So we're going to add a space, two spacers right here, and then we can drag and drop them. So I'm watching for that vertical line, but I want it to be a space bar to the left of my image. So I'm dragging it over here and I'm dragging it to the right against the side of this image until I get a vertical bar that's lined up just to the left side of this image. Drag and drop this to the right side. And I'm going to want this to be real small. And if I want to add my image, I can just go and grab my screenshot. Just like that. Now for me, it's pretty redundant to have my Wellstruck logo right there and then this right here. So I'm actually going to delete this in just a moment. But first, I'm going to add a little description in case they don't know what I do. I always want an opportunity to put in a little description of what I do, and it's also a great chance to infuse this page with a few more keywords. So I want it to say a branding studio. And then I'm going to say kind of what I always say is my quick explanation of what I do. Wellstruck does brand therapy, design, and websites that boost confidence and profit. I'm going to apply my heading 3 to that one and my heading 2 to this one. I'm going to select it all and center it. Now this is getting really wide right here. So again, I think I'm going to incorporate more space bars to the left of this. Oops. There we go, to the left of this and to the right of that. And I'm using different space bars this time because I want this part to be a little bit wider than what I made this. So I could make it like that. I think I'll go ahead with that. Now underneath it, you could either insert a horizontal line, just like that, and then put your text box with links under that. Or for me, I'm going to delete that line, and I tend to use, throughout my site, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I use these 6 little periods as kind of a divider, and that's just a little brand motif that I use throughout my site. Eventually, I might create some little icon or some little custom horizontal rule that I can drop in there to make it a little bit more special. But for now, we gotta get it done. Sometimes done is better than perfect. Am I right? All right, so now I'm going to type in the URLs that I'm going to want to include. So branding services. So I'm changing that up. Up here it says services, and here I'm putting branding services. It's going to link to the same page, but I'm mixing up just a little bit because this might catch somebody's attention versus that. Who knows? Subscribe, Wellstruck, Lady Boss events. And again, this will link to the same place that my Lady Boss page links to, but this one I wanted to keep really short in terms of length of words because it looks better on the primary navigation. But if they've heard about an event and they're coming from my Instagram because they've heard about an event, this will trigger that thought in their mind. And then blog, use FAQs to boost your SEO. Now I'm going to take all that, highlight it all, and center it. Now I'm going to go back here and to make sure I get my URLs exactly right, I'm copying that, highlighting that, inserting a link, and I am going to have it open in a new window because I feel like there's a chance that they might come back to this page then after they click on my services and click on the other links. My subscribe page link is right here. Open in a new window. my Lady Boss page, and you might choose to link to a specific event. Again, that's the beauty of this page, is it's so fast and easy to update in the future. Just as easy as it would be to update it on a third-party app. And this blog post. There we go. You could choose to add an emoji down here or an image. Overall, I really encourage you to keep this page extremely simple, because something to think about is people will be viewing it on mobile. They'll be viewing this page on mobile because they're coming right from Instagram, and people use Instagram on their phones. So a single, really simple column is the way to go. You might do something like add a spacer down here, or add another set of dots, but I don't think I need that. So I'm just leaving it just like that and clicking save. I feel like I'm missing one. Branding services, subscribe, Lady Boss events. Where did it go? Oh, I think it just, I must have accidentally just deleted it. Silly me. Okay, blog, use FAQs to boost your SEO. And we'll grab the URL from right here again. Sorry about that. But that just goes to show how easy it is to update later. Click save. Now, you want to test this out to see what it will look like in mobile. So we click that little arrow up there, and voila, here it is in mobile. So for me, this turns out really big because what it's doing is, even though we made that column small, Squarespace is great in that all of its websites are responsive. So it automatically takes your site and pushes it into ideal view for mobile. Sometimes it's not perfect. And in this case, it's blowing this up to be the width of the whole phone. And for me, I don't need it to be that big. So the way you might avoid that would be to when you take your screen grab, build in a bigger white margin around it like that. For me, like I said originally, that I didn't actually need this here. So I'm going to go back, delete my space bars, and click save. And then we're going to try viewing that again. Okay, so for me, I think this looks great. It's doing what I need it to do. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, silly, whatever phrase you use. I like to italicize my ampersand. In fact, I think I might italicize all of that. We always like to do a little bit of testing. Okay, so now we go back and we see what that URL is to make sure. So the URL for this page is, I have a password lock on this, Instagram one, and that's because the secret is, like a secret cooking show, I already have the page created, so it just created a -1 because I already have this page. But if I want to see this page and test it on the actual internet instead of on my Squarespace backend thing, I'm going to open up a new tab and do wellstruck.com/Instagram-1. And there it is. It's live. So I can shrink this to see what it looks like on mobile. Looks great. Then I can take this, copy it, log into my Instagram account, and I could paste it right here. But as you can see, it's already there. So I can click submit, go back to Instagram, not now, and I can click on that. It checks out. It's working. Great. So yeah, make sure you test it for real. Make sure the URL works as always. Put it in your Insta profile, and voila, you have your branded links page that you can use on your Instagram bio. If you try this out and you like this tip, definitely shoot me an email at s0@wellstruck.com with the link. I'd love to see you putting these ideas into action. If you like this tip and you want more like this in the future, I'm actually working on my very first e-course, which will be all about building a website from the ground up. No coding use needed, no coding knowledge needed. It's very basic. It's meant to be DIY for startups. It's coming in January 2019. So stay tuned, subscribe to Wellstruck to get notifications on how that's coming along. And thanks for tuning in.